All right. And we're live. Welcome to paraglidingtalk.com. I'm your host, Robert Michaels. Glad that you are here. We have a great show lined up tonight. It is Open Topic. Yay. Everybody loves Open Topic. We're going to talk about all things flying. I do want to mention, if you're in the chat, don't forget to say something because your name is going to go into the spinning wheel of winning things and you can win something fantastic. Tonight, we'll be giving something away about the half-hour mark, so stay tuned. This show is brought to you by PPG Zone. Josh Perry started a social media platform just for pilots. Go check it out. The website is ppgzone.com. Also, Midwest Parajet. Go check out their website, which is midwestparajet.com. And also, this show is brought to you by PPG Smoke. Ryan Roberts, he's created a masterpiece with every single component that he's added to the flying community, from smoke machines, paramotor strobe lights, lamels, chase cams, even floats. He's got the best products on the market right now for the best deals. Go check out his website. Everything is very reasonably priced. Website is ppgsmoke.com. Also, the show is brought to you by Paramotor Props, paramotorprops.com. If you're looking to get a great deal on props, maybe you blow one up and you have to get a new one, or you bought a motor and you didn't realize that it wasn't going to come with a prop. It happens. It happened to me. Paramotorprops.com. Also, the show is brought to you by paraorangeproducts.com. Larry and Chris have made all kinds of things to add to your flying repertoire. You want to protect your gear. You want to cover up your motor. You want a windsock. You want to buy they sell quads and trikes. They've got, everything imaginable. Go check out their website, paraorange.com or paraorangeproducts.com. That is the website that you need. Thank you so much for everybody who's logging on. Welcome to our live stream. I know it's summertime. A lot of people are enjoying some nice weather. They're flying right now. People are in the air right now. And this show is for the rest of us. Okay, so we're here for you to take care of you. I've got to do just one thing here. Crazy Uncle Bob just donated $5 to the super chat. Thank you, kind sir. I'm going to bring the chat up here so I can chat with all of you. We've got some great topics tonight. If you have some questions or something that you would like to add to the show in the chat, drop your message in the chat and I will get to those questions and get to those needs as they come up. In moderation tonight, Sean Nafsker's with us. Also, Craig Taylor. He is in a bunker in Nantucket. And don't worry, you won't find him. It's highly protected inside of that bunker. So check this out. I want to mention a very, very special group. I'll just call it it's an organization. It is called Resurgence PPG. And you guys probably all know about them. But for those of you that don't know about them, they are a 501c3 that do some amazing things for pilots. And I'm going to segue into our conversation with this. Resurgence PPG, a guy named Todd Scandrick created Resurgence PPG. And he was dealing with a little bit of, I would argue that it was borderline PTSD type stuff from going into battle. And he was kind of having a hard time. He had some issues with his heart. He had some surgeries. He had dealt with some crazy things. Chris Fenmore just donated $10 super chat. Thank you, kind sir. He said, my son is in his 5th day of PPG training at Sky School UK. Woohoo. Wow, no kidding, in the UK. Interesting. Thank you for that contribution, Chris Fenmore. You're always hooking up the show. I appreciate that. So Todd ended up having these issues, and turns out he maybe won't say this, but I'm just going to piece this together, that he was dealing with some stuff, some mental stuff, and he found paramotoring. And paramotoring, and if you know anything about flying, it literally changes your life. It's an incredible hobby and a sport. And, obviously it's dangerous. There's things that happen in this sport that you don't see in necessarily every sport. But it's important to know that this Resurgence PPG, has an outlet for those guys. So basically what Todd Scandrett has done is he's taken the idea of putting flying in front of some of these guys who have maybe some PTSD, or maybe they don't even have PTSD. Maybe it's they've got maybe they've got something going on. They lost a limb in battle or something like that. This is for them. And so it's a 501c3. So if you're looking to adjust your taxes by making a contribution to some place, this is the place. I was talking to my boss at work the other day, and at some point during the tax season, there's going to be a place where we're going to be like, okay, we either need to buy some work trucks and do this and that. And then there's going to be a place where we can make a charitable donation. When we do, we're going to make it to Resurgence PPG. And so I just want to encourage you. I know we're on the show and we're doing this thing, and we just come here to hang out, and we're trying to relax and have some fun. But I want to mention this. If you can maybe mention it at work, maybe you're part of a small business, maybe take that extra step and go into the office and talk to the ladies in the office and say, hey, if you're going to make a tax deductible donation to somewhere to balance taxes, I have a recommendation. And so I just want to mention that if you want to reach out to Todd, by the way, he didn't ask me to do this. This just, I know many of guys that are dealing with PTSD, and I know for a fact that this is changing lives, and he's already changed so many lives with this organization. Reach out to him. The website is resurgencepbg.com. So I want to talk about mental game tonight. And Craig and Sean, please chime in whenever you see fit. I don't want this just to be an all about me show. But I want to talk about these mental things. Going into flying, you've got to have your mental game at its peak. And I'm gonna tell you why, especially in the beginning. Now I'll give some examples. I don't know about you guys, but when I know that I'm going to be flying the next day, it's hard to sleep, man. I get excited, especially when it's going to be a first crack at dawn. You're going to get up early. You want to make sure you have all your stuff organized. It's hard to lay down and go to bed because you're so excited about getting up in the morning, going on a flying adventure. And you're thinking about your oil mixture. You're thinking about where the motor is. Did I bring the gas tank? Is my wing packed up? Where's my radio? What about my lines? You're thinking about all kinds of stuff, and you might not get enough sleep. And when you're not on your A game, detriment can happen. And it has been happening. We're going to talk about probably after the break, we'll probably talk about hand injury, because it's been prevalent. This season has been just brutal on the hands. So your mental game is going to determine whether or not that you're going to fly safe. You're going to maybe make a mistake that's going to damage your gear, maybe make a mistake that is going to cause you to get up in the air and be absolutely terrified because you've got something that maybe you didn't notice. I don't know about you, but I've flown a couple times where I've seen guys free flying with a stress knot, and their wing is deformed, and it looks like at any second it's going to fall into stall, and they're going to go crashing down into the mountain or something. And there are obviously reasons why these things happen, and most of the time it always goes back to a slip in a right mental game. You've got to have your mental game in queue. So why would we be mentally screwed up? Well, one of them is obviously from not getting enough sleep. That I would say that's a killer. That is a something that goes way underrated. I don't think we've ever talked about it on the show in 3 years when you're going to go free flying or paramotoring. And I would argue that you need to be more on your A game with paramotoring than you even do to free fly. Some free flight guys would probably argue that, depending on the day. I've just been flying glass offs, so I'm not necessarily trying big cross country stuff. I'm not competing or anything like that. But with the motor, there's so many moving parts, so many things that you need to really fix. You need to figure out. Will Fly mentioned frustration. I'm going to talk about that. That's a great point. Your mental game, is affected by things. So lack of sleep is one. Another one might be dehydration. Now, oddly enough, I know, and I'm not trying to just, talk about something that's so obvious, but our brains function. Remember, you were kids and you would take a test, and the day of the test, the teacher would be like, okay, make sure that you eat good food and make sure that you drink plenty of fluids. Well, that's a big part of it, right? Your mental game. Did you eat some food? Did you drink something? Are you got some electrolytes in there? Are you feeling good? That's going to affect your mental game.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one. When you're dehydrated, you make bad decisions, and that is never a good time for a bad decision.
Right. And so, by the way, just before the break, we're gonna talk about this fly-ins, and that's something that happens at fly-ins. I don't drink, and I encourage you, if you drink alcohol, quit drinking alcohol. It's not good for you. You're literally putting poison in your body is bad for you. But especially that when you're going to get up in the morning, you're going to mess around with something that can potentially hurt you. Don't go into the next day all jacked up, and then you're kind of you're going into it with only half your brain working. And you know what? Guess what? There's a bunch of people that do it, and they get away with it every time, and they're fine. And you see them, they're smiling, they're having a great time. But guess what? That's different for you. You're going to get jacked up.
Generally, typically, I know me, I'm not a very early morning person at all. Okay. Actually, I'd probably live and survive very well on the time schedule that Robert has. But coffee is a big thing for me. If I haven't been up for 2 hours, at least 2 hours, I don't fly that morning. Period. I will not. I've had to make that rule for myself because, again, poor decisions. I've made a poor decision before. All of us have. And it could have costed me a lot more than it did. But fortunately, I'm okay.
Yeah.
But that's an important thing. Making sure, one, you're hydrated, you've had enough sleep, and you've had enough coffee. You're able to say, I'm going to focus on flying. I'm going to take off. And if I fail this launch, I fail this launch. I'll take a break. I'll give it a go again. If it doesn't work out, that's all right. I'll wait. I got plenty of time, A lot of us get our stuff out. We think we have to fly. That's not always the case,
Ooh. Yeah, you're about to step on my one of my topics.
Oh.
So check this out. One of the big ones, and this is something that I guess we've talked about a little bit, but the idea. So we're going to say you were persuaded at your fly-in to mess around with alcohol or strong alcohol, and then you go to bed super late because you decided that you're going to wreck yourself, and in the morning you get up, you say, I don't really want to fly, and then your homie comes in, and the same guy that told you to drink that crazy whatever it was, now that same guy's telling you, let's go fly, and peer pressure puts you in a position where you don't need to be, right? So wrap your mind around that. You get to the place where the same guy who was influencing you to jack yourself up is trying to get you to jack yourself up with a paramotor now. So, and I know I'm speaking stuff that would never get talked about. People wouldn't bring this up. You don't have conversations about this, but you will hear at paraglidingtalk.com, because this is something that can mess you up. So now I want to also mention this: pride. Okay. You come into this sport with pride and you're going to get humbled. You should always keep, I preach in an actual church, and in my sermons, I'm preaching about pride. And there's a scripture that I use that says God resists the proud and gives grace to the humble. I would argue that in flying, you better find some humility. Otherwise you're going to get jacked up. And it's so true that we come into this sport and we think, that looks so easy. I remember telling Phil Russman, I'm like, yeah, it just looks so easy. And Russman said, yeah, it is. Once you're in the air, pull right, turn right, pull left, turn. I mean, simple. Jim CR120 said maybe need some different friends or better resistance to peer pressure. Very good. So the pride factor is critical. Can you get control over your pride? Because there are guys that are no longer among the living because they didn't check their pride. They shouldn't have been flying on a day like that. It was the winds were contrary. There were, it was a site that was outside of their pay grade. It was a motor that it was too much horsepower. It was too much. The wing was too spicy, and I can go on and on and on. But pride typically is what brings you there. Something obviously that's come up a few times in our sport is that, or on the show about the sport, is that guys are getting, especially in paramotoring, they're getting into wings that are way too spicy for them. And they're putting themselves in a dangerous position because now they're flying something that they're not able to handle. They couldn't really even handle the A and they couldn't handle the B wing, but now they're going to fly something that competition pilots flying pylons and races are going to be using. And they've never turned a pylon. They've never even done a wing over. They can get the wing up and they can run into the air and they can fly fast, but their pride has put them in a position where it's like, well, the guy who showed me how to fly thinks I'm ready, and he let me fly his wing, and so it should be fine. Not always the case. So the pressure of life. Go ahead, Sean.
To add to that, as a matter of fact, how we're talking about fly-ins and stuff, how people feel the pressure of needing that they have to fly because everybody else is flying. They have to fly. That's
Right.
not only the dangerous part there. Another dangerous part is that they see everybody else flying maybe a spicier or faster wing, and they can't keep up with them. Let's say you're wanting for, maybe this is the first or second time you've flown with other people. You want to go out and you want to do a small XC with a couple other pilots. You find out that they're so much quicker than you that they leave you in the dust and you're just kind of hanging there, or they're circling around and you feel like kind of the tag along guy because everybody's circling you like a shark, and that's another thing. Don't get onto a faster glider or a glider above your technical ability to be able to control and manage just because you want to keep up with somebody else, because that can lead to a dangerous situation really fast. What are your thoughts on that, Robert?
Yeah, that's a fact. The other thing, and I wanted to mention, was flying after frustration. Forcing a flight after frustration. And let me just send this out here real quick.
Talking about that, Robert, part of the checklist, before you even go to fly, I have my stuff already set up, loaded up, ready to go and rock and roll. I have everything already checked off of the checklist. It's been checked, and it's going to be checked when I get there. You have to stop and you have to think, okay, am I physically capable of taking a flight right now? And am I mentally able to take a flight right now and to be responsible with it? Am I mentally able to pay attention? Am I mentally able to keep my calm and my cool and stay focused on what I'm doing? Because if I'm not able to, I'm not going to be any good in the air to anyone else or myself,
Yep. So coming into, now I've done this. Okay. I've tried to force a launch out of frustration. And, I'm not going to forget to talk about the etiquette of flying at fly-ins. We're going to talk about that in just a second, but just stay with me. When you're flying out of frustration, you're making decisions that you normally wouldn't make. And I'll give you some examples. I took a wing. I was at one of our local paramotor sites, and I tried to do this goofy launch. I don't know what I was thinking. In my mind, there was no wind, and in my mind, I was thinking I need a little help to get the wing up, and I juiced the motor to kind of fluff up my wing. I wasn't trying to make it come up. I was juicing it to try to bring my leading edge up so I could build a wall. And what ended up happening is I juiced it. Part of it came up, but not really. And I felt this kind of slack happen. And I don't know how exactly it happened, but it grabbed a line.
Click.
And right when it grabbed a line, it bound up. I hit the pause button and it turned the motor off, and everything seemed like it was going to be cool. But turns out the lines actually from my riser went up over the loop and pulled and bent my frame. It bent the hoop. And so I turned around and I unwind it 5 or 6 times. I'm like, gosh, man, this sucks. And I had pulled the sheeting off one of the lines. And I thought, well, whatever, I'll just I'll clean this up and try to fly it again. And so I did my thing, and I got ready to launch again. This time I was way more careful, and I got the wing up and I flew, and it was a non-event for the rest of the day. However, had I just been, if I had mentally said, you know what, I'm going to be very careful the first time, I wouldn't have been, I'm being all adventurous, trying something new. I'm like, oh, hey, I got this, I got a motor now, and I can make my own wind, and I can make my own thermals, and I can later for all that. So anyways, I learned a lesson. There's also been times, and this happened, if you were at the Salton Sea Flying and you were seeing, if you were with me, I made a huge mistake because I was trying to force a launch where I should not have been forcing a launch. Actually, Sean was flying back and forth over me. He was contributing to the peer pressure of me.
I was trying to stay out of the way. I was like, I'm going to get Robert's launch off footage. At least I'll have something cool for a change.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So I had got this brand new motor. I'm all excited. I got the prop on there. I got everything. And I did the break-in. And so now I'm just going to do the final couple flights of the break-in, get it up to 4,000 RPM, 5,000 RPM, 6,000 RPM, the whole thing. And I did I was trying to get back up in the air during the warm-up period, but I could not for the life of me get that wing to launch properly. I couldn't get, I tried reverse launch. Each time I would bring it up, it was like there was not enough wind. And then, so I ended up trying to do a forward. And when I ran into it, like I was launching off the hill, torpedoing a little bit, and I pull the wing up, and right when it gets into the power band, it yanks me into the air, and I try to hit the gas, but I have no feet, and the glider ends up, I swing forward on the glider, and I did the very wrong thing, which is to hit the brakes right here, and it made me fall backwards. My feet came out like this, and I ended up falling backwards and turtling on my brand spanking new motor, breaking in the motor, fall on the ground. Luckily, I was conscious enough to kill it before it did any damage, but here I am completely blowing it for frustration.
Don't do the torpedo with the motor on your back. Bear poops in the woods and stomps in it. Yeah, bear poops in the woods, straight back, pooping in the woods, stomping in it.
Yep. Even still, I should have just chilled and took my time. There's motors. If you go to the Salton Sea Flying, there's people flying everywhere. Yeah. They're buzzing your head. They're all over the place. And for me, I like that energy. So I'm like, I want to get in the air now. I have to now. I got to go. I want to fly. And that is a bad mentality. I always noticed the old school guys that have been flying for a while. I always watched how meticulous they are for everything, every step, getting ready. And, you get older and you don't recover as fast from injuries. And I think that's a big part of it. These guys, you twist an ankle and you're going to be out for 8 months. Young guys twist an ankle, 2 weeks later, they're back in the game, or sometimes even faster. You guys ever heard of this guy named Gabe from his handle is Party Till Impact. He's like a skydiving pilot. He paraglides too, but more speed wing stuff. And he's in Europe, Party Till Impact. Well, he came into a landing. This is the most disturbing thing I've seen in a while. He's on a tiny little, like a 4-meter wing. And he does the same thing every time. He runs off the hill. It's like a cliff. He does the wingsuit stuff too every once in a while, but he has this tiny little speed wing, runs off the hill. And then when he's about, I would say 500 or 600 feet, he does the thing with the front risers, like a skydiving swoop. And then he'll pull him in and he'll swoop in. And he's got his feet out in front of him. And as he's about to land on this really nice, and by the way, he's always barefoot, every one of his videos. Well, anyways, he goes in and he hits a windsock going. I don't know how fast those wings are going, like 60, 70 miles an hour or something. It's crazy. And he hits a windsock, and there's the lake and then this green grass. And in between the lake is the rocks, these like boulders, nasty, rigid rocks. And
limestone.
Then the grass. No, it's like just giant, massive boulders, but they're not smooth. They're all just rigid. And he goes feet first into those rocks, bam, and does like cartwheel into the rocks, breaks both of his legs. Fast forward like a week, he gets all stitched up and fixed up, and he's in braces and all this stuff. He's back on the hill flying. Older guys are going to take a while to repair. And so being meticulous, taking your time and setting your wing up properly the first time. You ever flown with somebody that just throws their wing out there and they're like, I'll fix it when I get to it. I noticed that the guys that are really excellent always take their time in layout. And so that should be, let's spin the wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Leads to perfect practice makes perfect, right?
That's right.
All right. So no more names in the wheel. I done put the names in the wheel. So here we go.
In the wheel. I'm going to mention American Allied Drains and Plumbing. If you're in the San Diego area, you need plumbing. American Allied Drains and Plumbing is your company. Mention Paragliding Talk, and you'll get a 10% discount on your services. You want to call them? Their phone number is 844-777-9055. That's American Allied Drains and Plumbing. Let her rip. This is a special spin of the wheel, because the spin of this wheel is brought to you by Calamity Kite Clinic.
You got it. CalamityKiteClinic.com. If you guys are coming to the Dave Purdon Fly-In, please reach out to me. Contact me on the website or on Facebook. I'll be more than happy to work with you on your ground handling needs. Get you up to par, polished up.
Nice.
Ooh, who's it gonna be?
Geriatric PPG just donated Geriatric PPG just donated $10. I like that name. Ooh, so close. Nathan Sequoia. We're giving some Amsoil, by the way. I didn't tell you what it was that you're going to win.
Nathan Sequoia, congratulations. Awesome stuff.
He's like, that's not Sequoia. Where did you get the word Sequoia? Nathan Sequoia, you are the winner.
Sakwa.
Winner, chicken
right?
dinner. Congratulations.
Am I still butchering it? Sakwa?
I'm going to say
I don't know.
Sakwa.
He's like, oh my gosh.
Congratulations.
Sorry, Nathan.
Nathan, please reach out to me on the website, paraglidingtalk.com. Go to the website, go to the contact section, reach out to me there. And I just need your mailing address, and I'll mail that out to you. Congratulations. Yes. Shakwa. That's how you say it? Shakwa. Okay, I like it.
Very nice.
Congratulations. Yeah, Nathan, I've always said Sequoia just because it seemed like that's what that second word was. But Shakwa, I won't forget it.
But it's easy to tell if it's a telemarketer calling on the phone or something. I get the same thing. So
Yeah, my last name is Michaels. And they're like, Mitchell's. Oh, they know they lost the call in the first 10 seconds. Like, no, goodbye. Like, no.
I can tell all the time, like they never can pronounce my last name. I know it's a telemarketer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Face kick. Never mind.
Well, I've had like 30 of them in the past probably 10 days that couldn't get it right.
You need to get a new phone.
Mr. Fascas.
My phone takes care of all the riffraff calls.
I have an app on there to do that, but I have to take the first one or deny the first one. And they're starting to call from local numbers, so it makes it even harder.
No, they've called me from my own phone number.
I mean, mine says possible scam, but I still, I'll answer it just to block it because I can.
Well, when I'm driving around back and forth all these fly-ins, I'm bored sometimes, so I'll just take them just to have fun.
I pulled a Robert with one when my sister was helping me move some stuff.
Hello, Timmy? Timmy? Is that you, Timmy? Timmy? It's been 15 years, Timmy. Oh, goodness. It's so good to talk to you, Timmy. What? This isn't Timmy. Who is this?
Yeah. Hot Buttered Steve said Roberto Michelle. It happens. That's legit. So I have people that call me that all the time. Yep. So I do want to.
Got better at your launches now, Robert?
No.
Not torpedoing anymore?
No, I torpedo just to prove a point that it can be done.
There is no shortcuts. You know what I mean? Like that's something to point out too, Robert, is there are no shortcuts.
I torpedo just to let everyone know that I'm a free flight guy with a motor. They're like, oh, that's a free flight guy.
Yep.
I'm having the opposite problem. When I go free flight, I can't bring myself to lean forward in that torpedo. I just want to do like I do with the motor, and it's wonky takeoffs every time.
More kiting. I'm
kiting damn near every day, Sean.
Hey, kiting. Kiting with the practice of the forward, the leaning forward for the free flight.
I really want, Sean, you need to get your P3 and come to San Diego and just spend a couple weeks at Toby Pines, and I want to see your kiting skills.
Yeah,
I do.
Sure.
I hear that you've got some kiting skills. I want to see him in person. I don't know how you're going to do it.
We'll figure that out, Robert. We will make that happen. Absolutely.
Next year for when we get down there for the Salton Sea, we'll spend an extra week and head over there.
Yeah, but he's got to get his P3, otherwise he'll have to pay a fortune to Tory. Yeah, you have to be.
How much for me to go from I got a P2. How much to go from P2 to P3?
I don't know. They're going to want obviously to see your hours in a logbook. They're going to want to know who your instructor was, and then they're going to want your USHBA number. Yeah, you can talk to those guys, and if you do, I guess this is a good time to mention Toby Pines. They're a sponsor of the show. If you go to their website, flytory.com, that's FLYTORREY.com. They've got some emails on there. You can send an email and find out how much it would cost and who would be the person to talk to. I think that's a great idea. Yeah, so you do have to be a P3 to fly at Toby Pines. It's such a fun place to kite. Obviously, it's challenging. It's challenging to if it's really windy. It wants to pluck you and take you for a flight.
Mm-hmm.
But it is really it's super fun.
Sounds like my kind of fun. I think I'd enjoy that. Heck yeah, man.
Got a little bit of just a shallow little runway. So it always wants to give you some lip. So let's talk about flying. So the Dave Purdon fly-in is going to be in West Portsmouth, Ohio. And is that this weekend or next weekend?
That's
Next
coming
weekend.
up on next weekend on I believe it's the 4th through the 6th.
September 4th through 6th. So I want to talk about this, and let's mention let's talk a little bit about flying etiquette. So showing up, first of all, let's say that you're gonna join the fly-in. If there is some kind of a cover that you need to pay to get in, don't play games with that. Just pay it. There's a reason why they have some places charge for their fly-ins. And I've never been to one where you have to pay, but I want you to know there's a reason. It didn't just happen. It wasn't like some evil person said, well, I must capitalize on this opportunity to take some money from these people. How can we do it? And they all of a sudden now they're taking people's money. No, there was a need that came up and they were like, how are we going to do this? And the only thing that made sense was like, we're just going to have to charge. It sucks, but whatever, we're going to do it. And it makes everything smoother. So don't try to dodge that. Don't play games with those kind of things.
Not only that, but the expenses, the money that they make generally typically goes towards the porta potties,
right,
towards food vendors, towards
exactly power.
It goes right back to the event and to helping the event run.
Airstrip if it's an airport you're flying
absolutely
at. Yeah, and you want to keep that that relationship good so you can have that fly in next year. And I'll tell you something that would tick me off if I was hosting a fly-in. If half the people decided they weren't going to contribute, then the next year I might not want to have it, or I might not be interested in organizing it because people didn't want to really do. So I did want to mention that. No one, that has not come up. That has not been an issue, but I forecast that that could become something because.
And not only that though, it helps them have a log of who you are, so they can give you the information that you'll need. If you have a motor out, you have something go wrong, you need to do an emergency landing. Guess what? You have a phone number you can call, and there's somebody there on the other end to go, where are you at? Okay, we'll send somebody out. We'll get you some help, man. Hang tight.
Probably.
That's the one thing I'll say I like with moonshiners. They actually give us a rubber band bracelet with their phone number on the back for rescue, just in case he went down.
Super
and
smart.
Dave Purdon does that as well for those coming. Absolutely, yes.
That's a good idea.
It's an excellent thing.
We should make some for the Salton Sea Flying.
Yeah,
right. Good idea.
Absolutely.
Rescue band.
The problem with Salton Sea is there's no one actually organizes it, so there's no.
It's the Wild West.
Yeah, there's no real rescue crew. You just have to know people there, and
so
I'll tell you, when Aaron went down, we had no problem getting a crew together to go out and get him, which is amazing.
6 miles
the local ATV
in the
guys.
desert, Robert. 6 miles in the desert. This man landed out in the middle of nowhere.
I remember you guys talking about that. Yeah.
Yes.
That was in Arizona, right?
No, that was in Salton Sea.
That was the Salton Sea.
Oh, was it really?
Yes, absolutely.
And he had less than 20% on his phone when he called me.
Ooh.
By the time I got back and went out to get him, he kept losing more and more battery on his phone. He was walking through the desert in the dark in a unexploded ordnance area.
Yeah, it's very sketch. Very sketch.
That's fun.
He was very lucky that nothing happened.
He did some mine sweeping.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't get blown up walking through there. We've seen the signs going in, and I recognized what it was. I'm like, that's not a good thing.
Oh my gosh. So Todd from Resurgence BG mentioned this. He said, discuss the mentality of launching and staying over the LZ. It should be launch and leave, not launch and loiter. That's
Absolutely.
a huge one. Yeah. Far too many times people are flying around waiting for their friends. They want to show off. They want people, they know where the cameras are. They're all right there. You're waving to your homies. Maybe you're harassing people, and maybe you're flying by and throwing stuff or what. Don't do that. Get up, get your plan on the ground and go. You would never get in an airplane and just keep flying around the airport. But we do it at fly-ins, and there's tons of air traffic. So why would we do that? Right. So that's a really good point, Todd.
Not only
and,
that, not
flying
only
etiquette.
that, like I was saying before, with the don't pick a wing that's hotter than one that you can fly
Yeah.
competently. Well, not only that, I fly very slow wings. I enjoy them. Sometimes I just like to float. Okay. But
Flying's
I'm
good.
a lot slower than most people with their motors on their back and that are flying. So it takes me forever to come in and land. Well, if I'm coming into land, I don't want somebody hot dogging in front of me causing a bunch of prop wash and wake. I'm trying to come in and land safely, not get
Yeah.
flopped around because my 120-pound self can't, manage to keep flying straight because the wind's so choppy and whopping me around. I mean, it makes it very challenging for those with slower gliders to come in and land if they're trying to. There's been times where I've about ran out of gas trying to circle to come in to land because somebody keeps cutting in front, or somebody's coming into land that's a little bit faster than me. So I have to curve back off, come back around again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Will Fly mentioned, and please stop making sharp turns right after launch. Yeah, that is a fact. I did that once, got in trouble for that. Yep. It was Gringo. I don't know if Gringo's watching, but he's got some friends over, something like that. And he's way cooler than us tonight. And, but anyways, yeah, he was all mad at me because I hooked a right-hand turn right off as soon as I got in the air. And that was the launch right after my super frustrating, like 8 botched launched and a turtle. So that as soon as I got in there, I'm like, yes, fine. I was all sweaty. And, having that thing on your back for 8 attempts is like, you might as well have ran a mile. And as soon as I got in there, I'm like, yes, it was all nice and cool. And I just banked the hardest right-hand turn. I just flipped it around. I'm like, finally. It was like out of anger. Yeah, don't do that. Something I want to mention also, this goes for free flight and motoring. Very, very important. Clear your turn. What does it mean to clear your turn?
Look
Where you're
lean.
going. You would never, ever decide that you're just going to turn without looking. Like if you're looking this way, you're not going to turn that way. But so many times guys are just like, I'm going to bank a right-hand turn and don't look before they do it. Will Fly says Resurgence rocks. Donate $5 to the super chat. Thank you, kind sir. Appreciate that contribution. Resurgence PPG does rock. Yeah. So taking, having control, good, solid control of your turns, looking and clearing your turns, when you're especially at the Salton Sea flying, because there's so much air traffic. I wanted to mention this, having your plan of what you're going to do. Like in the morning, we woke up and we're like, hey, we're going to fly to the mountains. We're going to go to this landmark, then to that landmark, then to that landmark. And we're all on the same channel. We're all on radio. Okay. What radio channel, what station are you on? Okay. I'm going to program this. I'm on this channel. Okay. Awesome. We're all on the same page. What time we're going to launch? As soon as the sun sets. We're going to go for 30 minutes. Blah, blah, blah. You fill in the blank. Know what your plan is going to be. And if I can add to that, just because it's a fly-in doesn't mean that you have extra people to help you if you screw up. That's a pretty jacked up ideology to have. And this goes back to what we were first talking about with mental game. Don't show up to the fly-in thinking I'm going to do more reckless things because I can get away with more. That's horrible. Like if you were flying by yourself, you'd be all careful, like, oh, I'm by myself. So if I crash, it's going to be really bad. Why would it be any different? You had to fly in and you're going to be like, I'm going to take some extra risks. I'm going to go ahead and let it rip. I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to be as organized as I should be.
Testing that luck bucket.
Where is that at, Craig?
That's the projection for Sunday.
Oh my gosh. Is that real?
That's a real projection.
Gusts up to 80?
Are
you having a hurricane?
I think they're pronouncing it Henri.
Okay, yeah. My word. Oh, my mom donated $5 to the super chat. Thank you, Mom. And DP donated $5.01 alms for the poor and wanted to one up Will Fly by a penny. I like that. That's awesome. Yeah. So how about not only are you planning your flight, but planning for disruptions, motor outs, what's gonna, I heard about guys running out of gas.
Pre-flight disruptions, pre-flight
yeah.
disruptions.
Yep.
That means you're trying to set up your gear, trying to put your machine together, and somebody stops to talk to you. Hey, buddy, do you have any gum? Where should I park my car at?
Yeah.
That's not a good time to be messing with people when they got their motors out and they're trying to put it together. They're pre-flight. That means leave them alone. Don't disturb them.
What's that?
What's that?
What are you gonna do with that thing?
Oh yeah. Knock knock.
Yep.
No, knock knock. It's a knock knock joke. Knock knock.
Who's there?
The interrupting spectator. How much are those?
Do you need
That's
a
a
license?
pretty big
Do you
propeller.
need a license for that?
How long do you get on a tank of gas?
Yeah. Do you have to have a license for that? Can you
You
do that?
actually fly that thing? Can you fly in the air with that?
Can you
Yeah.
die from that?
I fly in Class D airspace, and I got denied clearance to take off for the first time in 3 years.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So you got on airband radio, asked them if it was cool, and they said no.
Every time I fly from here.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah.
No kidding. So what did they say? What was the deal? You said, hey, I'm on a paramotor. I'm down the street. Want to like launch from here?
They said, not today, please.
No kidding.
Yep.
And that's it.
That was it. Denied. Pack it all back up. I was laid out and ready.
Ah, that's actually a good that's a good thing a good lesson for everyone. You better call the tower before you lay out and get your gear all warmed up.
I should have called them from home.
Yeah.
It would have saved me a lot of work.
Oh, and you have so much time to just spare.
Oh yeah.
And just that didn't take about 4 months to be able to plan. And the wind was probably just right.
I kited the field and just minus.
Oh man.
I made the best of the time I was there already.
Training harness.
What are you gonna do? Yeah,
Yeah.
put the harness on. Thankfully I grabbed it that day. Yeah, denied.
Mom donated $10 to the super chat. Thank you, Mom. Resurgence PPG said, dude, I had a guy at Oshkosh trying to talk to me before our Airthyma show. I finally had arrhythmia. Yeah, I can't read. I finally had to get him to move back behind the crowd line just to leave me alone. Nice. Excuse me, behind the line, sir.
Fanboys.
Yep.
Fanboys, fangirls. I mean, it does happen. People come up and they're just,
Oh, wow, this is so cool. You mean you put that on your back and you run with it and you get up in the air?
And I'm cool with
Oh.
that. I've, if I was there, I'd be the person asking a million questions.
and some of those guys are talkers too.
Where did you get that? Where can you buy one? Can you make one?
Yeah.
Can you learn on YouTube? I promised I would talk about injuries, hand injuries. Anything else that we want to mention about fly-ins? Literally, just chill. Everyone is there to have a good time. Everyone is there to just disconnect from the world a little bit. I notice about flying is that it takes all of your attention. You can't really think about much else. The world can be closing in on you from every side, but when you're flying, it's about flying right now. I'm going to do what I'm doing. And it's a critical thing, in my opinion, that you're having a good time. If you're thinking about flying and you've got some weird stuff going on in your life, maybe think twice about going out and flying that day. But when you are going to go fly, man, what a wonderful thing. disconnect from everything. Hot Butter Steve donated $10 super chat. He said, my paramotor arrived on Tuesday. This is the last $10 to my name. I may be loaded, but I ain't rich. Cheers. Hot Buttered Steve. Jeez Louise, that is a gave the last gave his last $10 to the paragliding show.
Thanks, Hot Buttered Steve. You're all right, buddy. Funny.
Yep.
Funny, but all right.
Yeah. Fly Swamper, thanks, Marks, for another good show and all the effort you put into this. Sounds like it's time for me to go load up and be ready to go first thing tomorrow morning. That's what I'm talking about. Get some, Fly Swamper. Yeah, I do have to mention just a couple people that are good paying customers. Nebraska PPG. Josh Bowden runs a school in Nebraska. If you're interested in getting some top-notch training and with a good instructor, he is a fun instructor. I guarantee it. He's helped me multiple times. He helped me at the fly-in twice to get my feet off the ground. And so I know that he's good, and you're going to enjoy getting some lessons in Nebraska because it is a cool place to fly. Check out his link in the description if you want to get a hold of him. That's Josh Bowden in Nebraska PPG. Also, the show is brought to you by iFly Indiana Powered Paragliding. If you're interested in flying paramotors, no better place to get the proper training than iFlyIndiana.com. Kevin and his team will get your feet off the ground. That's iFlyIndiana.com. Kevin is a super cool guy, and he's been a sponsor of the show from the very beginning. He's been around for a minute, so support him. Go check out his website. Also, the show is brought to you by Lone Star Paramotor. If you're in the Lone Star State of Texas, reach out to Ron Turan and his team for world-class training. That website is LoneStarParamotor.com, oddly enough. Yeah. Hot Butter Steve said, Josh delivered it personally, his motor. He said, I asked if it was mine. He said, yep. I said, cool, and went back to kiting. Nice. Well played. Yeah. So I really think it's important to have some fun. So keep yourself hydrated. Keep your mind in the game. Get enough sleep. Something else I didn't mention was out of shape. Yeah, I'm about to go there. If you're fluffinuffagus, you need to chill. Maybe think about doing some workouts, even if it's just putting your motor on your back and walking up and down the street. Maybe it's just, I don't know, doing some push-ups, sit-ups, whatever. Get yourself in shape. And as I'm saying this, I'm convicting myself. I need to get in better shape. There's been a couple times, plus, a couple weeks ago I had COVID, so my lungs are all jacked up. But I think that many people could have a much better time if they were just stronger. You botch a couple launches, and have you ever noticed some guys that they botch a couple launches and they're just completely soaking wet, just completely just drenched and like ready to give up on life? Doesn't have to be that way. A little bit of self-discipline get you out. So get yourself in shape before you
Goes
go
back to kiting. Kite 10 times more than you fly, literally. Do that for a reason. 1, get you in great shape. 2, teaches you how to control your wing and to manage it. And 3, it teaches you skills that you need for launching and landing. Kite. Jeff Goen. As a matter of fact, one of the guests that we've had on several times, Jeff Goen, states very clearly, listen, you need to kite at least 10 times the amount that you fly to stay proficient and to have that muscle memory.
You would never, like, if you're going to be involved in the Olympics or something like that, you would never just slack off and let yourself, fall apart. If you want to be successful, you got to get in shape. Gyro Jeffers said, you need to lay off the Krispy Kreme donuts. Fat. Yeah, that's a fact.
Need to eat more. I need to eat more of those. Should probably get like a whole dozen of them, eat them during the show. Like
Hot Buttered Steve said, kiting for 4 months helped me to get in better shape. That's bingo. That is correct. Jim CR 120, he said, squat, sit-ups, push-ups before every meal. Just do it. Do it.
Yeah, been up at Moonshiners there, Sean. people needed some kiting practice there was just tons of blown launches.
Yeah, I'm sure there was. I saw some of the footage and was like, wow, yeah, okay, well, that's to be expected because of the altitude.
We got 3 minutes to talk about hand injuries. This last, month and a half? Okay, we'll just say 2 months. I've seen more hand injuries in the last 2 months than I have in all 4 years now. Jeez. In 4 years being involved in the sport. And people are, man, this guy, Craig sent me a link. I don't recommend that you go and watch it. I'm surprised that's still on YouTube.
Yeah.
Dude just chopped his finger right off. Ping, gone off. He was able to put it back on there somehow. And it's surgically put it back together. But I mean, golly, chopped his finger off. And it didn't look like he was doing anything that I haven't done.
Well, but here's the thing, Robert. Now, if we're going to discuss this, we need to discuss the proper way. So if you do lose a finger, at least you know what to do. Okay.
Yeah.
Get you a freezer lock baggie. Okay. For the freezer, you put the finger in it, seal out all the air, put it on ice. Do not let the finger touch the ice or the water. All right. Get it cold, keep it cold, get to the hospital. That's how they might be able to save your finger. Now, if you put that finger and put it in water, it probably isn't going to last that long. And it's probably going to be beyond the ability to do anything with it. Yeah. That is an important fact that people need to understand. If you do end up losing a finger, please do not do that. Do not put it in water.
That's good. I didn't know that.
Put it in a Ziploc baggie so that way it's not contaminated with anything else, and keep it cold. Absolutely. That is the most likely you are to be able to save that finger.
Luis mentioned, what about gloves? Yes, wear gloves, because you've never had rope burn like you have on a riser, a one line or a riser. By the way, the sheer power of these motors and you'll learn the strength of these lines. I bent my hoop on my paramotor because a line went over it, went into the prop and bent. I mean, unbelievable. So yeah, Kyle O chopped up his hand. His brake line was, he's holding his brake, and one of the lines got grabbed into his wing and yanked his hand into the prop. There's been people that have been ground starting and hitting their hands. Really, really work. Pay attention. You don't want to lose digits for this. It is absolutely not worth it. We're at the 7 o'clock mark. Guys, thank you so much. Craig Taylor, Sean Nafsker, Nick Fasakis. Appreciate you guys. Everybody in the super chat. You guys are awesome. We're going to go to the after show. Thank you for watching this show, and thank you for supporting this show. This is episode 181. And so thank you for being a part of it. And we'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next episode of paraglidingtalk.com. If I don't see you on the air, I'll see you in there.